It's The Log. I'm Charles Purcell. Speaking from our palatial new studios today. Did a little rearranging here at New Arts and Media Studios, which is one of my favorite things to do, is rearrange. I'll often rearrange the furniture in my house if I'm depressed. And I do it before I even realize I'm depressed. I just start doing it, and then I realize, oh, I feel better. I think I was depressed. So, yeah, we got a nicer little spot here we figured out. It's a little roomier. You're gonna have to let me know if it changes the sound, if it changes the tone quality of the recording. You send those cards and letters and let me know. Now, you do know how to reach me, right? I'm so easy to reach. Charles Purcell at Gmail, charlespurcell.com. I'm on Facebook. Real easy to reach. So reach out. Reach out and touch someone today. Hey, speaking of, that reminds me, I got some really big news today. We have found a little money in the budget. I don't know how we did it. I think it's legal. But we got a little creative with the money over here, and we decided to fork out the money required to go every day, Monday through Friday, on your favorite podcast platform. Up until now, it's been a little confusing, I confess. We were just posting the Monday and Friday shows to our host podcast site, which is Libsyn, and then they distribute it to a whole bunch of different podcast platforms. You got your Apple Podcasts and YouTube, and there's something called Blueberry, and I don't know. There's just so many of them. So wherever you get your podcasts, just go ahead and search Charles Purcell or Charles Purcell Presents, and it'll come right up, and we'll be there every day, Monday through Friday from now on, not just the Monday and Friday shows. So that's the big news around here. You can subscribe and get all Monday through Friday shows. I'll just load up your queue. So how was your weekend? I enjoyed the Packers-Saints game last night. And I got to say, once again, I do not miss the crowds. If and when things go back to quote-unquote normal, I will miss these days of quarantine when the crowds are gone. The game last night, I thought, was a lot more fair because normally in the Superdome, it's one of the loudest, if not the loudest venues in all of football. If you're not a big sports person, maybe you don't know, but the team who has the ball, the team on offense, they can't hear each other normally. You can't call signals and be heard because of the crowd noise. And then when the home team has the ball, then of course the crowd remains quiet so that their guys can hear their signals. And I've always thought that that's just not fair. It's kind of like cheating. And they're even allowed to pump up the crowd noise. Yeah, they put mics on them. And they actually amplify the crowd noise through speakers to make it even louder. So it's virtually impossible for the visiting team to function properly while they're on offense. And everybody just accepts this as a natural part of the game. In fact, it's part of the fun to give the home team a 4-point advantage going in. It's crazy. So with no fans in the stands, it actually made it a fair game. The visiting team could function. It was a very entertaining game. The lead went back and forth, several ties. It was very exciting. And of course my team won, which makes it even more so. But yeah, I don't miss the crowds. I do not miss them at all. Loud, obnoxious drunks. Just no. I still don't miss them. Here's an update I've said several times. Any kind of a television experience, the late night talk shows, that sort of thing. So much better without the live audiences. So much better. Now, of course, live audience at a theater, that's a whole different ball of wax here. In a theater, to see a play or a musical, in a concert hall, oh yeah, then you got that beautiful, beautiful silent energy. And if it's a comedy, you got genuine laughter, not like the laugh track enhanced garbage you hear on sitcoms. No, legitimate theater, concert hall, live crackling energy of an audience, applause, the give and take between the artist and the audience. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So don't get me wrong. I'm not discounting that. That's one of the greatest things in this world. Live theater, live music. But it's the fawning and the screaming and the manipulation of the home viewer on the TV shows. That just has to be called out for what it is. Unnecessary, annoying. Yeah, I have opinions about this. Oh, speaking of television, Amber Ruffin. Okay, here's the deal. You know me, I've said this 1,000 times. I don't have any streaming services. I am philosophically opposed to paying 1 red cent for streaming services. It's just not worth it. And it's undemocratic and it's elitist. Poor people should get to watch TV just as much as rich people. I don't like the whole notion of streaming services. But there's a free one now. It's relatively new. I don't know how long it's been out. It's relatively new. And, of course, I'm talking about Peacock from NBC. And they just toss in a few ads just like old-fashioned television, and it's free. It's absolutely free. So I've already got this little love-hate relationship with Peacock. I downloaded it for one reason. Because I heard that Amber Ruffin was going to have her own show. And I am schoolboy in love with Amber Ruffin. Amber Ruffin, will you marry me? She's just the greatest, most wonderful, smartest, funniest person on television. I love her. I love her. Writer and performer on, what's his name? Late Night, Seth Meyers. Late Night with Seth Meyers. And she's got her own show on Peacock. So I download the app. Now, right away, the love-hate relationship starts. Because what do? Just out of curiosity, you start scrolling. Oh, what do they got? What do they got? And now they're sucking me in. They're sucking me in. And it's mostly garbage. Oh, but this looks maybe pretty good. I check that out. And I realize very quickly, just within a matter of minutes, they're messing with my brain. They've got me. So I deleted the app. I can't have this. Can't have it. I can't bring this evil into my home, onto my phone. But then last night I thought, well, you know what? Let me try it again because I want to see Amber Ruffin. The first time I downloaded the app, she wasn't there yet. The show had not yet premiered, not yet available. So, okay, try it again. Download the app. Boom, up it comes. Search window, Amber Ruffin. Boom, there she is. No side trips. No rabbit holes into anywhere else. And I watched Amber Ruffin. It's the Amber Ruffin Show. And it's exactly what I was hoping for. In fact, just the other day I was talking to somebody. I was saying, I kind of like the first half of some of these shows. You know, Colbert and Seth and Jimmy and, these guys. The first half hour, there's a monologue and there's a couple of bits and there's maybe a video package of something. And it's a really nice, tight little half hour of commentary, comedy, and satire. Not bad. Kind of like it. But then they decide they have to go another hour. And they've got to bring on some damn Hollywood star to talk about God knows what. The whole guest part of these talk shows, I never stick around for that second half hour unless it's somebody really special. And like I always say, there are only so many hours in the day. I'm going to spend it listening to Tom Hanks talk about the greatest generation. Who cares? Are you kidding? Seriously. So Amber Ruffin's show is that first half hour without that stupid second half hour. No guests. It's just her and a sidekick / announcer who she can bounce off of occasionally and incorporate into a little bit. And it's exactly what I was hoping for. It's the first half hour without the second half hour, and it's Amber Ruffin, my favorite person on the planet currently. I just love Amber Ruffin. So that was good. That was good. Well, while we're on media, should I media critique anything else for you? I guess that's all that comes to mind at the moment. I think I'm happy with my media consumption. It's just kind of enough, and then I let it go. I don't go down the rabbit holes of the streaming services. I don't go down YouTube rabbit holes. I think for the moment I have a healthy relationship with media. But it's something you have to be really vigilant about. It's very much akin to your relationship with food. Do you find yourself eating just because you're bored? Do you find yourself eating quality food or junk food? Yeah, it's very closely analogous to your media diet. Good quality media that might actually enrich your life a little bit, or junk media that's just going to fill your head with garbage and make you a fathead. Everybody's got to find their own balance. I'm going to try not to preach to you too much here. I can get pretty preachy on this subject. You could preach to me about the food. Oh, I'm such a failure. I fall into food traps all the time. Eat because I'm bored, eat more junk than healthy. I keep trying and I keep failing. Oh, my goodness. But the media diet, I got to say, I think it's pretty healthy. So, I'll take the good with the bad here. Well, of course, over the weekend, Amy Coney Barrett became a household name overnight. And you got to start with this. Oh, my God. Did you catch this? On Saturday, when she's announced by the Orange Menace, she has to get up, of course, and say a few words. That's how it works. By the way, it's in the Rose Garden. Again, full crowd. I don't know, at least a couple hundred people probably in there. All shoulder to shoulder, no masks. Just pretending this thing doesn't exist. Crazy, just crazy. So listen to this. Okay, she's talking about the legacy of Ruth Bader Ginsburg as we pick up this little clip. All right, listen to this.
She was a woman of enormous talent and consequence, and her life of public service serves as an example to us all. Particularly poignant to me was her long and deep friendship with Justice Antonin Scalia, my own mentor.
Yeah, you heard that right. Poignant. 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 Especially poignant for me. Here, listen again.
Particularly poignant to me.
I just found that hilarious. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes. But you know what? That was not a mistake. No, you don't. It's just the way I heard it. Yes, she's reading off a script. But you don't say poignant unless you think that's actually how it's pronounced. I think she thinks that's how it's pronounced. I think she thinks it's pronounced poignant. And if she gave another speech today, she'd say it the same way.
Particularly poignant to me.
How can a quote-unquote towering intellect pronounce poignant? I mean, I'm not putting all of my eggs into this basket. Well, I oppose Amy Coney Barrett because she said poignant. No, I just find it slightly hilarious. Poignant.
Particularly poignant to me.
Oh, mercy. So after the death of Justice Ginsburg and the immediate uproar about how the Republicans were going to handle it in the Senate, well, I guess we've had that conversation. And now, with a few days under our belt, it looks like the fight is already over. I suppose there's some hardcore folks out there still saying delay, or even the Democrats should boycott the hearings. Or I myself was advocating for being obnoxious like the Republicans were during the impeachment, calling for points of order and using every little excuse to obstruct things. At this point, I think I've been convinced. Boy, I hate to admit this, but I think I've been convinced by media punditry who seem to have a pretty good idea here. Again, hate to say it, but it starts with an admission that the die is cast. This is pretty much over. There's no way to stop it. And more it looks that way. So what I'm hearing the mainstream strategists say, and again, I like to be out on a limb. It's more fun. It's more fun to be contradicting everybody. But in this case, I think they make a pretty good argument. And that is to spend the confirmation hearings talking about healthcare, and healthcare. As long as there's going to be this high-profile confirmation hearing in the news cycle day after day, literally just days before the election, and like we keep reminding everybody, during the election, because people are already voting, emphasize how dangerous she is regarding health care. To stop her nomination? No, you can't do that now. To convince Republican senators to vote against her? No, you can't do that. It's too late. No, it's to put it in the news cycle every day, and you're basically making this part of the campaign. You're talking to voters. To change their minds? Again, no, you're not going to change any voters' minds right now. Right now, it is 100% about turnout. You got to get people to the polls. And it's not a scare tactic. It's just literally true that this woman is dangerous when it comes to anything regarding health care that comes to the Supreme Court. And of course, the one they keep talking about, they're scheduled to start hearing the case on November 10th, 1 week after Election Day. They're going to hear a case that threatens to abolish the Affordable Care Act. So as long as you're going to lose this thing anyway, which I have to agree, might very well be the case, go ahead and spend your time. Every senator on that committee in the confirmation hearing, again, high profile, nationally televised, all the networks covering it, just make speeches. Take your 5 minutes, talk about health care, talk about Black Lives Matter, talk about climate change. You can go ahead and toss in Merrick Garland's name and say what a travesty that was, how Mitch McConnell and the Republicans just spit on the Constitution. And again, this is conventional wisdom, which is not usually my style. But I have to admit, they have a point. Do not attack Amy Coney Barrett. Don't attack her. Don't Kavanaugh her, as they've been saying. Because in this case, the traditional pundits, I think, have an excellent point. That hurt the Democrats. It hurt the Democrats the way they treated Kavanaugh. Now, he deserved it. He deserved every bit of it, of course. But it hurt them in the election. So, no, do not attack her personally. Nope, don't do it. Make your speeches. You can decry the process, that's fine. But don't attack her personally. In this one case, the common wisdom, the conventional wisdom, which I normally find reasons to argue with, they got it. They got it this time. Oh, and the other thing I would bring, every single senator should talk about COVID for a minute or two in every one of their opportunities. Senator Lamar Alexander from Tennessee, the Republican, he said in an interview, just right out loud. Again, the Republicans say things right out loud now. They have no shame. Said that, the hearings are great. They will distract voters from COVID-19. It'll be a distraction. People won't be thinking about the virus. And especially how badly the Orange Menace responded and how callously he tossed 205,000 lives into the cauldron of his own ego and bid for re-election. Yeah, Alexander said that this is a good thing. It's a good thing to distract from the virus here right before the election. We don't want people thinking about COVID. These guys have no shame. They say things like this right out loud now. So, senators, at the confirmation hearing, take advantage. You've got this platform of the hearings. Let Coney Barrett just sit there and listen to you make a speech. every time you get your chance. Make your speech and then say, what do you think, Ms. Coney Barrett? What do you think of that? Just toss her a little question at the end of your 5 minutes. By the way, shouldn't her husband be confirmed as well? Shouldn't he be part of the process, her husband Jesse? Because she can't do anything without his approval. He has the final say about everything she does. So, yeah, you don't think she's going to be discussing cases with husband Jesse, who's the head of the family in all ways and has the final word? Do I have to remind you here? Maybe I do. Amy Coney Barrett is a member of this religious organization called People of Praise. I think, is that right? People of Praise, if I got that right? And it's this hardcore, charismatic religious organization that believes that men are head of the household and that women should be subservient to their husbands, to obey them. They believe this quite literally, that wives should defer to the husband in all things. And she is devout, and I mean devout. So, yeah, let's swear in Jesse. Let's have Jesse put his hand on the Bible and have him appear in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee. He's the boss. It makes no sense. How can someone sit on the Supreme Court of the United States and believe that women should be subservient to men? Come on. This is just crazy. This is ridiculous. Again, we don't even pretend anymore. At least we used to pretend to try to have impartial judges. A judge, by their very job description, means they should be impartial. They shouldn't have strong ideological views. I always said Antonin Scalia had no place at all on the Supreme Court. I don't care how brilliant he was. I don't care how much he and Ruth Bader Ginsburg were chummy. I don't care about any of that. No person with that level of ideology should ever put on a robe. Just a few years ago, a couple decades ago, that would have seemed insane. You just don't do that. That's why Robert Bork was borked. And Amy Coney Barrett is an ideologue. There's just no getting around it, and there's no arguing it. The Republicans certainly know it, and they don't have any interest in hiding the fact that she's an ideologue. That's what they want now. Again, in the old days, at least we had the decency to try to hide it. And then there's this tricky Catholic thing that is almost impossible for the Democrats to deal with, because they'll just be labeled anti-Catholic, anti-religion. It's a really tough place to be in for the Democrats. Somebody wrote, and I can't give credit here, it was anonymous. But listen to this. If rather than being Catholic, Amy Coney Barrett was a devout Muslim woman who belonged to an extremist Muslim organization that demanded a lifelong covenant, professed a belief that women should be subservient to their husbands, taught at a madras, and once said she viewed her participation in the legal profession as a way to bring about the kingdom of Allah, the conversation surrounding her appointment to the United States Supreme Court would be slightly different. Yeah, you think so? Her beliefs are not even Catholic per se. None of that stuff is canon. This is a fringe outlier group that calls themselves Catholic, but they are as Catholic as Branch Davidians were Protestants. Again, I can't give credit, posted anonymously. Yep, all of those things are true. The lifelong covenant you have to sign and agree to in this group she belongs to. This People of Praise. Women subservient to their husbands. Taught at a madrasa. Yeah, she taught at a religious institution. Nothing wrong with that. But the writer is making the point, yeah, what if it was a Muslim school? And the quote, the whole point of the legal profession is to bring about the kingdom of God. It's exactly what she said. It's a quote. Suppose it was kingdom of Allah, and she said it at a madrasa. Sure. Good point. Excellent point. So this issue kind of goes on hold now, I guess, in the news cycle for a little while. We've had the nomination, we've had the little speechifying, we've had that little poignant moment.
Poignant.
And now it goes behind the scenes for a few days, few weeks, and they're scheduled to have hearings October, let's see, is it the 12th? I think, just like 1 week of hearings. So it'll pop up in the news again at that point. And you'll hear, of course, from the other side how brilliant she is and how respected she is and how much people love her, and she has a lot of kids and she's a good mother and, sent directly by God. So as far as Democrats obstructing, delaying, I don't know if maybe that's not entirely off the table, especially if you can delay the confirmation vote until after election results are in. And if the Democrats flip the Senate, now that window gets very tight because, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's January 3rd that the Senate is sworn in. So Mitch McConnell and the Republicans would have that very tight window to confirm. And if they try to do that, and believe me, they will, okay, picture the scenario. Election results are in. Democrats have flipped the Senate, but we've got like 3 or 4 weeks of a lame duck Senate. For them to confirm the nominee during that lame duck session takes all the chutzpah in the world, and believe me, they've got it, and they'll do it. But then would the Democrats and the American public rise up and do everything in their power to stop them? I don't know. We'll have to see how everything shakes out. I'm afraid that's a distinct possibility. Just what I described. Democrats flip the Senate in the election. The results are in, but the current Senate has this little lame duck opportunity, and they go ahead and they take advantage of it. And no one likes it. It wouldn't matter. 90% of Americans polled will say, no, this is an abomination of justice, of democracy. Moscow Mitch and the lame duck Republicans wouldn't care. That's already been established. We have 90% agreement on lots of things. On health care, on gun safety, lots of issues poll up into the 90% and more. So they won't care. I don't know. If you guys can find a way to do it, more power to you. To me, it looks like it's signed, sealed, delivered. Amy Coney Barrett will be a Supreme Court justice. And then, if and when the Democrats take the White House, flip the Senate, now we can talk about serious court reform. That conversation is going to have to get very serious. Oh, I love you. What are we going to do? Stay happy. Forget your troubles. Come on, get happy. Da-da-da-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Let's just hang in there together, shall we? All right. It's The Log. I'm Charles Purcell. Oh, that reminder, once again, please subscribe. Now to just make life so easy. For the first time, every show, Monday through Friday, available on any platform you like. Go to your favorite podcast platform, find this show by searching Charles Purcell, and then subscribe, and boom, there it is, every day on your phone, waiting for you. So, big change around here. We've done that. Thanks again to our flagship terrestrial station, River West Radio, riverwestradio.com. Theme song composed and performed by Peter Donalds. Follow, comment, and reach me on Facebook and Twitter @Charles Purcell. See ya.